Hello and welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls, and with me always is our resident football expert, Tate Mathews. Tate, it is playoff time. The table is set. We've got 8 of 9 in, most we ever had.
Pretty good, and the only reason we don't have 9, if 6A was still the Z plan or the Super 32, we'd have 9 in, but one of them had to go home. Franklin obviously was that one team, but not a whole lot of shame in that. They're playing in the toughest, I really do believe that, the toughest district or region in the state, and Tate will still play football.
Week 10 is now complete. Fairview finishes at 7-3, 5-0. They played Cheatham County, who came in. A lot of people thought this was going to be a really good football game, highly contested for the Region 6 3A championship. Fairview made it 62-18 victory on their behalf.
Cheatham County's a good football team. Like you said, a lot of people outside of here thought it was going to be a game. Popcorn City, I think we did predict that it would be Popcorn City, even though they were that good. And Darius James did his normal deal, went off. I thought the thing that was neatest about it was obviously with the rain. It's hard to score that many points in a game anyways, but especially in the rain. They did a lot of it under center. Kind of changed what they did, but it didn't slow the Yellow Jacket down attack at all. Looked like it was flag football out there for Coach Hughes.
He would have liked that. Coach Hughes now joined us in studio. He hasn't joined us all year, complains about it. Here you are, Coach Hughes. Good win, 62-18 over Cheatham County, Region 6 3A champions. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The 7-3 team, I think, is better than the undefeated team from last year.
I think they give them a heck of a game. I'd like to see it. There were some really good – they lost some really good players from last year. But you're right. I think you probably are, and just a little bit tougher schedule. But it's going to be fun to watch them in the playoffs. Playing really well right now. We'll
talk about their playoff matchup in just a minute. Centennial finishes the year 4-6, 3-2 in Region 6, 6A play. They played Brentwood. We knew the scenarios going in. Centennial had to win, and Ravenwood had to win for them to be the region champions. Very highly contested game, very close at halftime. Brentwood comes out on a tear. You're looking at Caden Dreyer, what he's brought to this Bomb City Bruins team in the Wildcat formation, out wide, specifically this one-handed grab that you're going to see in this package right here, the Caden Dreyer highlight film of the Bomb City Bruins win over Centennial.
Shacklett back again. He'll call his own number. This time dives into the pile, and he's got his touchdown.
Caden Dreyer on the carry into the end zone for touchdown.
Check that. That was Dreyer who took the direct snap. Needs something here. Shacklett looks left, goes across the middle, got his man. The reception made by big number 12, that's Caden Dreyer.
Pass is complete.
Spears that one out of the air,
10,
picks up the first down. Exactly what the Bruins needed. Brentwood now with an opportunity. Here's Shacklett to the right. Shacklett, he'll dive in. Touchdown, Brentwood.
Caden Dreyer on the carry.
Or Dreyer again,
Touchdown
check that. He's got his second score of the night. Now Brentwood will take the lead. As we all huddle together like madmen, trying to stay out of the rain and the wind and the cold. The Cougars, Stewart, back to pass, swarmed under, he'll be sacked. Ball is out, it's loose.
Fumble on the play.
Centennial turns it over in the end zone, and it is a touchdown for the Bruins.
Touchdown.
So 3 unanswered scores now for the Bruins. You know exactly what's coming here. He'll take it one more time to the left side, stays on his feet, and he's in for the touchdown.
Dreyer on the carry, touchdown Brentwood.
Caden Dreyer, the 12th grader. Senior, 6'2", 231 pounds. Tough to stop in these conditions.
As you can see, he brings so many things to the table, whether he's in that Wildcat formation or if he's out wide. Carson Shacklett, great quarterback. I mean, you got 2 guys that can throw the rock, that can run it. His ability to be able to catch that ball in those elements right there says all you need to know about Caden.
Oh, that was a heck of a catch. You're right. On any night, but especially last Friday night with the rain, and it's just fun to watch that. I think that's one of the things that's neat about this team, and they're both seniors and senior leaders, but 2 guys what you just said. I think they could be sitting here 9-1 with either one of them at quarterback. Obviously, let's get our 11 best on the field, and that's what they've done. Caden's kind of gone to that Christian LeBreche H spot, hybrid spot, whatever. And man, what an athlete to have out there. You saw that with the catch, and then when he's in that Wildcat formation now, he's coming downhill. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. That's a load. And just kind of got away from Centennial in that second half. They got on that burst, 3 straight touchdowns. It's hard for anybody to withstand that. But this Brentwood team, that's what I think people lose sight of sometimes. They're very athletic. We got a lot of guys that can make plays for them, and kind of hard to believe they finished up second in the region at 9-1.
Well, Shacklet had another, just a very solid night, 10 of 15. Of course, not a lot of attempts there because of the rain for 86 yards, but Dreyer accounts for 4 touchdowns. I mean, when it gets, what a weapon to have right there. It's raining, it's cold. Don't want to have to throw the ball on the 2-3 yard line. Let's get it in. Make sure that, let's give the ball to Caden Dreyer. Boom, he gets it in. Bishop, Dreyer, Nicholas, all those guys right now looking really, really strong. Yoakum, another kid on receiving end of things. This team has hit their stride. I think Ravenwood loss is going to pay huge dividends for them because look at what they've done since that loss.
Oh, without a doubt. Probably woke them up a little bit, right? And here they're still ranked 4th in the polls in the large school classification. So, and you mentioned Nicholas. He had a great game. He was over 100 yards rushing. So just a lot of weapons on this team. And it's going to be hard for Caden to get player of the weeks, things like that. Because the yardage totals aren't very big. But those 4 touchdowns now, that's as big of a performance as anybody across the state last Friday.
And think about the team that's matching up with ours in the region, in Region 6. What do you get for getting in the playoffs? You get Brentwood because Brentwood comes in second behind Ravenwood. With this win, Brentwood had to have won the game, and then you had to have Independence beat Ravenwood for Brentwood to be in first. Well, with Ravenwood winning, that puts Brentwood in the number 2 slot going out. Centennial's going to be in the 4th seed going out into playoffs. As you mentioned, Brentwood is currently sitting number 4 in the mid-state polls.
Without a doubt. And then there was a lot of things that we knew all 4 of them could possibly win the region. And for a while, it looked like, as you were following the scores on Twitter, it looked like all 4 of those possibilities were going to happen, right? You had Centennial was up on Brentwood in the first half. Independence was up on Ravenwood, and obviously both Brentwood and Ravenwood came back. So, Coach Ron Crawford, good job the other night, buddy. We're proud of you. Looking forward to the playoffs.
Franklin Rebels finished the year 3-7 on a high note.
He looks pretty serious there.
He looks pretty serious. That was probably in the first half. That's what halftime looked like.
I like it.
What do you think he said at halftime, Coach Crawford? What did he say?
Hey, we're not playing. Seriously, we're not playing Brentwood High football. That would be my guess. And let's settle down, go out there and do what we do. We got a lot. There's a reason why we're 8-1. That would be my guess. I mean, you got seniors. I don't think they needed any kind of tongue lashing. You just settle down. Let's play our game. There's 2 more quarters, and take care of business. I would guess that's what it was.
Franklin Rebels, Dr. Defense finished on a high note this year, finishing out with 2 straight wins, 3-7 on the year. Beat Dixon County 31-0. Dialed up the defense one last time for the year.
Yep, the Doctor of Defense gets a shutout in the last game of the season. Glad to see that. Carter Hendry had 4 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing, and no what ifs. None of us are into them. But I really would have liked if Carter was beat up at the beginning of the season. I would have loved to have seen a healthy Carter Hendry for 10 games, 4 touchdowns, and then Gacka was over 100 yards again. I believe he got right under 900 yards for the season. So had we gotten a playoff game, he probably would have broke 1,000 yards for the year. So big win for them, and I'm really happy for Coach Webb and his staff and his kids. That was a great way to end the season, and they ended on a 2-game win streak. And again, if they're not in the district, the region that they're in, what the non-region schedule they had, he might have played the toughest schedule in the state. So really happy for those kids.
You mentioned Matt Gacka. He finished with 874, so he was right there knocking on the door of getting in. But congratulations to the Rebels and Coach Webb and his staff for finishing out with 2 wins on the season. Nolensville traveled to Marshall County
That must have been after the game.
That was after the game. A little bit of a smile, not much, right?
That's right.
Knowlesville traveled to Marshall County. Obviously, their fate kind of landed the week before with Maplewood with a chance to chance for this game to be the region champion with Marshall County. And by losing to Maplewood, the best they could do is either third or fourth place. They had to get a win at Marshall County to get in that third slot. They did not. They lose 49-6. Now, Marshall County is an extremely good team. There's no doubt about that. Seasoned players, seniors. Knowlesville has, learning the ropes of things of what's going on against a very good team. Got to mentally stay in it. This game was really, actually, it was 14-6, left points on the field in the first half.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm glad that you joined us today, Coach Hester. Visors getting ready for the playoffs. Hey, first ever playoffs appearance, first year of varsity play. What can you say about the Knights going in this year?
Absolutely. I mean, we're about making life-lasting memories for the kids. No, I'm kidding. He knows what I think about it. But yeah, that was they ran into a buzzsaw there. You're right. I think they kind of
got big boy football put on.
Well, yeah. If we're being fair, if we're going to say that when they came up to Brentwood
right.
and got big,
that's right. Absolutely, they're great. They have a really good team.
They have a really good team. But I tell you what. 49-6, it looks like, in the past they've been so explosive and big plays, but that really wasn't what it was about. Really where they got them was kind of in the line of scrimmage, man. They're so big. But, I think that is without a doubt. I think they were by far and away the best team in the region. Now, 2, 3, and 4, I don't think there's a lick of difference between those three. So, and you hate to say this, but of all the games, for the weather to be like it was Friday night, I think that played the least in Nolensville's favor.
Well, they got the game in without getting rained on. It started early. Now
that was a great decision. That's right.
One thing that sticks out to me: Colton Dooley, 9 carries, 27 yards. You talk about that defensive line of Marshall County. You think they stuffed the holes a little bit on Dooley. Dooley sitting right now, on the year at. With a lot of yards rushing, if I can find it, he's sitting at 902 yards rushing. He's knocking on the door of 1,000 yards. They hold him to 9 carries at 27 yards.
That's right. There's the difference right there. He's been over 100 yards, 200 yards, 2 of the last 3 games, 100 yards last week. I would say that changed the way they called their offense on Friday night.
So Nolensville will enter as the number 4 seed. We'll talk about playoff scenarios in just one moment. Page finishes the year with I think this is a high-quality win right here over Columbia Central, a very good Columbia Central team. Page finishes 7-3, 4-2 in region play. They beat Columbia 21-12. They'll enter in as the number 3 seed. We'll have to go on the road, but I feel fairly confident that they'll have a good first-round matchup.
I think so, too. And for those that wondered, because it was out there, how's Page going to do in 5A football? I'd say they did pretty good, 7-3 and 3rd seed in the playoffs, and really they could have, it was really tight there. They were in it for second, and I think they've done really well. I think Gallatin isn't real happy about seeing them as their first round opponent, and so big win for them. You're right, a good Columbia team. Bubba Johnson did his normal thing. He was over 100 yards. You forget. I saw Coach Hatley at a basketball. Assistant principal Coach Hatley at a basketball game this weekend. You forget Bubba's he's a sophomore. We got 2 more years of him, and he's a guy you can give the ball to 20, 25, 30 times a game, like you had to in this weather. And come playoff, you better be able to run the football. Page can run the football.
Well, they've been a little banged up too. They lost their best defensive back.
Without a doubt.
They've lost.
And he was one of their better receivers too.
That's right. So he's a 2-way player, Michael Burdick, right? So now they're having to fill those gaps both ways on that. Van Landingham has been put out in that position right there.
And has excelled at it.
And has done really well. I think they're very dangerous and a hard out in the playoffs.
I do too.
So, it's going to be interesting when we start looking at these brackets, how far Page can make. Independence, 5-5 on the year. You mentioned Franklin's non-conference schedule. I think Independence's non-conference schedule was right there with them as far as difficulty. They finished 5-5, 3-2 in the in region play. Like I said, we played at Ravenwood. Ravenwood finishes 8-2, 4-1. Ravenwood is your 6A champs. They beat Independence 22-13. Ravenwood's finishing on a four-game win streak.
Wow. I mean, you can't say enough good things about Ravenwood. I mean, we were two of them because we just didn't know. You know, there was discussion of, are they going to be the one that's left out of the playoffs?
I'm just going to tell you, Coach Daniels, yeah, I really am sorry. We in the first of the year, we had Raptor Fast, laughing at saying, you know, outside looking in, number 5 in the region. They're going to be outside looking in. Coach Daniels, I owe you a formal apology. Take it right now. I apologize. I apologize for you being showing us wrong and winning the entire region. Now, with that being said, we have to pay up on our end of the deal to sweeten the pot. We told them that if they won, WCS Game Day is going to be there this week. WCS Game Day is going live. We're going to go there this week at Raptor Nation.
I challenged the Raptor Nation. The last time we were there, 6 o'clock, from one end of the stands all the way to the middle of the press box, from the bottom to the top. It was full.
DJ Reggie Reg.
DJ Reggie Reg was spinning the tables. I want to know if they can top it because I've said it before. We've had a lot of great game day environments. That was the biggest crowd we've ever had. It was loud, right? It was really loud. So can they top it? I'd like to see.
We're going to find out.
It'd be pretty neat.
Ravenwood finishing, I think they finished the polls right now, in mid-state polls, they're number 8. Now you got to think, Brentwood's number 4, they're number 8. Obviously the Father Ryan loss on the block or the fake field goal probably hurt them in the overall standings, which absolutely means nothing at this point in time in the game. Going to finish number 1. Going to host Independence. Going to finish number 3. They're going to have to go on the road. Imagine sitting there, you know, right now you think Independence 5-5, but everybody when they see that bracket, they still think the old Independence right now, the team to beat. Going to be going on the road in that first round matchup.
Oh yeah, and about that game, here's what's interesting. Troy Henderson goes for 207 rushing yards. Shows you what we thought. We thought if he rushed for 150 or more, they win. And this is all compliment towards Ravenwood, but Troy Henderson goes for 200 yards, and Ravenwood still finds a way to win. I thought that was impressive. And then the other thing, you know, they really did it running the ball. Anthony Jordan was over 200 yards rushing, had a touchdown. They had a rushing touchdown by Stallcup. So they just keep finding ways to win, man. They keep finding ways to win. And I noticed on the news Friday night when I was watching the highlights, they blocked another kick. Well, does that sound familiar? They blocked a kick against Brentwood. This isn't coincidence. They obviously have something going on there. So they got the running game going. They got special teams going. And they got a lot of seniors that seem to be playing well together and with each other. They won 8 games. You know, this team might be ready for a run. So, and then you go to Independence, you know, they've got that running game going. We know they can sometimes get the passing going. Don't forget, they beat Hillsboro. A lot of people are picking Hillsboro to run all the way to Cookeville in 5A. So I think they can both make a run. But huge win by Ravenwood. Congratulations.
Raptor Fast, don't count him out. The CEO of Raptor Fast is getting it done. Right now, if he was here, he'd be laid back, cool, man.
And he getting a haircut this week. Did I see that on Twitter?
I believe he is. I think it came down to either frosted tips or mohawk.
Whew.
Frosted tips is whipped. So, I mean, when he comes and joins us on stage for game day, the CEO is going to look like JT from NSYNC. So it's going to be great. Summit, Old Sparty, 8-2, most wins in school history. Finished undefeated in region play. They beat Lincoln County. Obviously, they've already wrapped up the 5A championship 2 games ago, but they defeat Lincoln County. Popcorn City, hats off to your boy, Coach Coleman, getting it done. I mean, this guy, what can you say about this guy?
He's the guru of wing tee football. I mean, he is now the guru of wing tee football.
And that's the biggest smile you'll ever see out of his face right now. I better angle it down at the table. That's usually what we do here. But
he's also got the highest bench press of anybody on this table, fatheads included. So great job. You know, how are they going to respond? They had the terrible injury that happened last week. I mean, you know, and losing a guy like that, you know, that can really.
Let me throw a scenario at you.
Shoot.
Don't know this for a fact. Nobody knows this, but I am going to throw this out. What if Ethan Cash makes it back in the playoffs at the quarterback position because they were just getting some things figured out? Now, Odemegwu is probably one of his best targets, if not the number 1 target, but also was Ty Carter. But could that be a shot in the arm that they may,
Sure.
you know? And here's the thing. We're seldom short. I'm seldom short right now. It sounds like that. They can win without these guys. They've already proven that. But mentally, they have to know that. They have to get themselves ready to go in this playoff run and say, you know what, let's go. That's all you can
yeah.
do.
And so how do you respond? Well, they would go out and they get after Lincoln County big time. Peyton Craig was, 170, 180 yards. Oda Megwu was 130, which that's what we had been seeing before. One guy was closing in on 200, and then you had another right around 123. And then, so yeah, I mean, hey, the recipe for success hasn't changed. We just got to have some other guys step up. Looked like they did it, and going into the playoffs, you know, if they can control turnovers, they're going to be able to run the ball. Nobody, look at the losses they had. Spring Hill was the first game of the season. I'm throwing that out. They lost.
If they played again.
That's right.
If they played again.
And then the other one's Centennial, 34-30. It wasn't because they couldn't move the ball, score points. Jario Wilson decided to go off that night, but. Yeah, I think, hey, and let's not, you mentioned it, region champs, first time in school history, 5A football, that's a big deal.
Region champs, most wins. We predicted it. Mr. Producer's going to have to check on it. We predicted it this time last year after they lost that first round that I just went on record and said they will win.
I think, didn't you predict them to go to Cookeville?
Game.
I know he was real happy about that.
I don't know that I said that. Barring situationals, you may have to go back. But if I said it, I'm going to stick with it. Old Sparty, I'm with you all the way. But I did say they're going to win a playoff game, and I will stand by that 100%. I think you'll agree with me.
Love it.
So, we finished out 4-1 non-conference. Total non-conference play this year was 34-17. So let's get straight to it. Let's look at the brackets. Let's break them down. Let's talk about it. We're going to look at the quadrants with each of these teams. Look at the favorites and potential spoilers of it. Let's start on the 3A level. Right now, Fairview, number one, coming out of the region, as we mentioned earlier, will be hosting Stratford, who is 3-7. I looked at Stratford's overall record in games. They have wins over Maplewood, Whites Creek, Clarksville Northwest. What can we expect out of this game?
Well, I think this is the third year in a row that they've faced Stratford. Or maybe second time in 3 years they faced them in the playoffs. So this is a different Stratford team. It's a different Fairview team.
I believe you're correct. I think it's third year because the first year they lost to them.
That's right.
Last year they won and drew East Nashville.
No, that was 2 years ago, I think. Didn't Good Pasture get them last year? I think they did.
Yeah, but that was in the third round. They had to play the boy that went to Oklahoma
That's
from
right.
East Nashville.
That's right.
Sorry.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Yep, exactly right. So two different teams. I've seen Stratford. I don't think they're ready for what Fairview is going to bring to the table. I think Fairview, if they play like they have the last few weeks, they're going to get after them.
If you look above, if they win in advance, let me back up. When they win in advance, you're going to get the winner of Sycamore, Giles County. I would predict in that game, they're both 6-4. That game's at Giles County. I would predict that Giles County would win this game. So you're looking at a potential second round Fairview-Giles County matchup.
I think so, and then I think once again Fairview is, you know, they're a physical. Just because don't let the spread and the way they are wide open on offense. They're a physical football team. They got a physical running game. Giles County has one of the better quarterbacks in the mid-state, but I think Fairview's just too physical for them. So again, and I think you're right. I think they would beat Sycamore. I think Fairview would be very successful in that second round.
So you're looking at in the quarterfinal round is the matchup. If you want to look at all the pundits in Nashville and all the so-called media folks, they're picking Pearl Cone to be the favorite in 3A football. So then you're looking at a quarterfinal matchup between Fairview and Pearl Cone. That could be something right there.
That'd be a heck of a game.
That would be a game.
Yeah, it'd be a great game.
And
I think
this is when your Ravenwood matchup.
That's right.
Does not cause you to go in just completely
That's right.
starstruck.
So we talked about that. He can look at his team and say, guys, that's as good as we're going to see all year long, and he's telling the truth, and you had him. You had him on the ropes. So, but I do think you'll see Pearl Cone, Fairview. I think it's going to be a great game, some explosive athletes. I think if you win that game, you're going to Cookeville.
Nolensville on the road going to number one Livingston Academy. Livingston Academy is 8-2. Not a lot known about this group. It is going to be a long bus ride over there, but hey, can the Visor go in and steal one?
I think it's a long ride, home of the Hog Eye. They'll have a great crowd. They're going to get them on size and physical. They won't get them on speed, athleticism. They have not played the schedule that Nolensville has played. So it's going to be tough, but I think they got a chance to go up there and pull an upset.
Not a chance they will.
I like it.
Book it right there. Nolensville getting a
Hey,
win. And
he
he's
likes
even
it.
better.
He likes
He's
it.
even better. Maplewood, Stone Memorial. Maplewood wins that game, advances. You're looking at a Maplewood-Nolensville second round. Here we go, 5A. Summit, number 1 seed, hosting Hillwood, 3-7. What do you think? I'm just going to go ahead. Let's make this quick. It is Halloween. It is Tombstone City. Get your popcorn, sit on the tombstone. This one's over with early. Hillwood's 3-7. Looking below that, winner of that game will get the winner of the Page-Gallatin game. Page has to travel to Gallatin. That's an interesting matchup.
It is an interesting matchup. It's going to be a really good game, 2 7-3s, but it's a game that Page can win. They're going to have to run the ball, but I think they can. That's going to be a fun game to go to. Bone's ready.
Bone gets a big signature win this year. First round at Antioch, setting up that matchup between Old Sparty and Page, round 2 to get into the quarterfinals. And then finally, the 6A level, we're going to start with Centennial. Centennial's going in as the 4th seed, has to travel to Cane Ridge. As we know, they did lose to Cane Ridge earlier this year. Only loss Cane Ridge has all year is Brentwood. Can Coach Kreisky go in there and steal one?
Can they? Yes. Are they going to have to play the best game they played since the last time they played them? Yes. Can't turn the ball over. They were up. The turnovers is when that thing started getting away from them last week. They cannot turn the ball over. They're going to have to be able to run the ball. Cane Ridge is a really good football team.
Well, you put that first half that you played against Brentwood in there, and then you take that and you go, you got to go 4 quarters.
Right.
Come out at halftime like that, yeah, you got a shot.
That's right.
But it's going to be at Cane Ridge. It's not going to be easy. It's a pretty wild environment. They have a lot of people come out, have great support up there. Been a very supportive atmosphere. Been a very, how long have they been winning? Last 2 or 3 years.
Ever
They've been
since
really
Eddie Woods has
successful.
been there. That's right.
So
about 3 years.
It will be not the easiest place to go win, but they can do it. Brentwood 9-1, hosting McGavick. Dare I say,
That's
Coach Crawford.
popcorn. That's popcorn. That's
Coach
popcorn
Crawford,
city.
what do you have to say about this game?
Well, we go, got to line up and play, take them one game at a time. But we like our seniors, and we really like our quarterbacks, and it's going to be a fun environment.
Popcorn City, nothing else to be said. Independence Smyrna. Independence has to go to Smyrna, the 3rd seed. This is another interesting matchup.
If they win the turnover battle, they win. If they don't, they probably don't.
That's right. They need to have a good game. Get Troy Henderson. I'll take my chances. That's their
right.
first loss with him in triple digits. Give me one more game in triple digits. They move on in that game against Smyrna. Last but not least, Region 6A champions, Ravenwood hosting Laverne.
Popcorn City.
I've got an extra
In the playoffs.
I've got an extra large Tombstone coffin right over here for that bunch. Tombstone City, Raptor Fast, way too much. Laverne, congratulations for making it into the playoffs.
Yep.
But we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Right? So
Taking up helmets.
that's right. Ravenwood advances. Looks to be pretty good right there. Playoffs, man. Best time of the year, Tate.
Well, the cool thing is if one of them can knock off Cane Ridge, I think definitely either Ravenwood or Independence comes off this bottom. We got a chance of a Brentwood, Centennial, Independence, Ravenwood quarterfinals.
On
That'd be
behalf
awesome.
of Tate Mathews, Jimmy Qualls, and all of our friends here, thank you for joining us for Florida Connection. We'll see you next time.